First, I am excited to be here live tonight. Last week we had an archive chat that we hope you enjoyed, you were able to catch. But we are live in this moment. Alexis, how are you doing tonight?
Oh my goodness. I am exhausted. I am so tired. And I think it had to do with how cold it was today. I mean, it was freezing today. I felt it in my bones. And like, I'm fine with cold weather. I don't know why it affected me so badly today, but it did. But other than that, I'm doing good. How are you?
I am the same. It was really, really cold here yesterday. I mean, it was cold today, but yesterday was crazy, and we got some snow. I don't know. Did you guys get snow? Yeah, we
No, but like if
got
you
snow.
drive around the mountains, like everything refroze. So now we have icicles everywhere again.
Yeah, yeah. So I think maybe the humidity and like we have crazy winds here.
Hmm.
Excuse me. So it was like it's been crazy cold. And I think it's like kind of more of like a, I don't know. No, I wouldn't say an annoyance. Well, for me it is an annoyance, but maybe just like affecting you a bit because it's like we've had a taste of spring and then it's like naturally we do wax and wane this time of year and we're at the very end of Pisces season. So that's pretty much on point, but it's just I know here it was so drastic because the day before it snowed and was really cold, it was like 70 degrees. And so I'm just like, okay. And so it kind of like disorients myself me in those moments. So I'm sure you probably it's been warm there off and on, right?
Yeah, last week it went from 75 degrees to snowing within a day. And since it snowed that day, it's been cold since. It hasn't gotten like warmer. And today, like I left the house for the first time in just a day, actually, because yesterday I spent all day inside. But today I went outside and I'm like, holy crap, it is freezing. I couldn't get warm. I feel like my fingers are all shriveled up and like I don't
Mm,
know. I feel like
yeah, that's
normally I'm able to handle the cold better than this, but
yeah.
hopefully this cold front will pass and we'll get back into spring weather for the weekend.
Oh yeah, I'm sure of it. And as we're recording this, or we're live and we're recording, it is March 18th. It is the day of the Pisces new moon. And so happy new moon, everyone listening.
Happy new moon.
Watch this live or watch the replay. Happy new moon. And yeah, so this is our monthly dark moon dream reflections chat. And so we're reflecting on the previous moon cycle from the previous new moon basically to this new moon. So the previous new moon was on February 17th and it was a solar eclipse in Aquarius. And so basically now we are out of eclipse season and I'm happy about that.
Yeah, it was a little intense. It was a little much. Despite it being like cold, I feel like the energies have been semi mild.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Semi mild.
Yeah. I feel like
So,
they've kind of gotten a little bit less crazy as time as like the since the full moon, right? So
right.
I'm happy about that.
And I believe Mercury goes direct on Saturday.
I think actually, wait, today's Wednesday. Yeah, so Friday or Saturday. Yeah, I know it's in a couple days. So that's really exciting. Mercury is going to be direct and yeah. Yeah, I felt like there was something else, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that and because this Mercury retrograde has been kind of like a typical retrograde for me. Like I've been having like technology issues, which has been interesting, but yeah, so I am happy to just start to literally move forward and be in the clear of eclipse energy. And yeah, so
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting Mercury retrograde this time around. Very emotional, which honestly, it's in Pisces. So,
yeah. And I felt like things were moving quickly. And I think maybe that could have been because of the eclipse energy. But I felt like even though it was a Mercury retrograde and technically we were in winter, like you could feel the intensity, like the quickness, like of the subtle energy, right? So it may have not been like you're moving around a lot, although I was doing a lot too, but it was just like I felt like the emotions, the change in energy, like everything was like very fast paced and it was kind of like hard to keep up. Like I felt like I was like moving through a lot
Yeah.
of emotions like at a rapid pace. And I feel now coming at the end of this lunar cycle and Mercury retrograde cycle, I'm just like, I can actually exhale and just be chill.
100%. Mercury in retrograde in Pisces was hitting my Saturn in Pisces, and
Mm,
those lessons definitely were coming through pretty strongly. So it was just weird. But you know what? I did learn a lot of lessons. Like it felt like very intense, quick paced lessons. Like I went through the experience and then I realized exactly what I needed to do and how to move through it and how to avoid it next time. Um, but I'm glad to almost be out of it.
yeah, yeah, I hear that. So, I don't have any announcements as far as classes I'm teaching. I do have some classes coming, but I just don't have the dates for those yet. So I will update you all once I have dates in the classes that I will be teaching over the next couple months. And we have our Dreamigos app that we always share about. Do you want to, since you're
Yeah,
so good at it, you have like a whole flow. I'll let you take care of that.
absolutely. So, if you guys don't already know, Urania and I work for a developing dream app called Dreamigos. That's Dreamigos. You can find this on the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. It's a wonderful recording app where you can record your dreams in a variety of different ways and keep them private, or you can add them to the dream line where you can get guidance and interpretation from dream experts like Urania and I. Every month you get a free dream circle and a free sofa chat dream circle, which is kind of like the dream circle, but a little more casual and laid back. So if you haven't already, go ahead and download that and join us today.
Awesome. Cool. So, I mean, I guess we're just gonna get right into it. How would you say your dream space was over the past lunar cycle?
Wow. Okay. I feel like um I feel like my dream space has been very flighty. Um I have a couple nights of very intense dreams, very vivid, very lucid. And then I have a lot of nights of very flighty dreams where I can kind of remember it, but I can't really grab on to it. And then I had a lot of nights where I just wasn't remembering my dreams at all. And the dreams that were intense, I feel like were very much jam packed with lessons and like touching on very intense aspects of my life. How was your dream space?
Yeah, it was busy, but I feel the past couple months, it's just been so hard. I'm to like record my dreams. I have been in this like just the pattern of how it is like once you're in a pattern of doing something like you're in a habit, like you're in the habit and you're aware, like I'm aware, I'm like, okay, I really want to write some of these dreams down. And I even make plans to do it later, but it's like making that change and like just getting started to doing that is so it like takes a lot because as the day progresses, as just like so many things come up and then I'm just by the time maybe at the end of the day I have the time to sit and journal, like I just want to play a game on my phone or rewatch Game of Thrones or read my book, like, and I'm doing my best to allow myself to be human. I know like I'm not perfect, and I know like when it comes to profound dreams, like the one I'm going to share tonight, I will write it down. That only happened once this month or this lunar cycle. I mean, I've had some really good dreams, but I haven't written them down. And I do share, like I share with you. And
Yeah,
so it's like, it's not like I still engage with them, but when it comes to the act of recording them, it's just like there's a lot of resistance there. And again, it's just like
yeah,
that's the flow I'm in. And I know a lot of it, depends on, or a lot of it basically is due to having to get up in the morning and get my daughter ready for school. So it's like I'm getting up 6:30, 7 o'clock. And so it's, and I'm waiting until kind of the last minute I can
Right.
get up like ahead of her and do all the things and then wake her up. So it's like we'll see what happens come summer break. So
Yeah,
that's,
I
yeah, my dream space has been really, it's been pretty good for the most part.
Good. I'm glad. I absolutely feel that, and I feel like a lot of people who are in the dream community are actually having a hard time writing them down as well. Like it's not, I feel like even if, I feel like it's both a collective and personal experience right now, not being able to sit down and have that ritual. And I'm kind of the same way. Like I don't have anyone to wake up and get ready for school, but I have to get up and go to work. And I am pushing the limit every single day and trying to sleep as long as I absolutely can to the point where I have like 10 minutes to get ready for work and leave. And, I feel like we need that. Like there's a reason why we're in that period right now. I would like to start kind of shifting into a more frequent ritual, waking up in the morning and writing stuff down, but it's just been a little difficult lately. And I'm trying to, like you said, I'm trying to give myself grace and not be so hard on myself and remember that I'm human and we work in cycles. And like as easy as it is to fall out of a pattern, it can be difficult to get into a new developed pattern. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but I'm right there with you. I'm having a really hard time getting it down on paper. I think I only, like you and I, we share our voice messages all the time. I think we should probably get a little more organized so we can like go
Yeah,
back
we
to
can
it.
tag them.
But
Yeah.
it's hard. Like
Yeah.
it's hard to remember to do that when you're
Right.
like in the
Because
middle
you're in
of
the flow. It's like I have like 5 minutes, like, and I want to share this before I don't like before, the day gets away from me.
right.
So it is hard. Yeah. And I'm glad that you mentioned the energy of the collective. Well, one, I want to talk about that. But then two, I do want to say that I feel that it will shift as we are moving into spring and then eventually summer. Like that's the time where we do kind of have more energy since, we're getting more vitamin D. It's, the days are longer. So I feel like, and also, it's warm outside and, so I know at least for me, because in New York, Syracuse, New York, in the wintertime, it's always gray. Like if it's not snowing, it's still more than likely gray. Actually, and we've actually got a lot of sun this year, but nonetheless, just having more of the sun and knowing that it's warm outside. So when it's warm outside, I'm eager to go for like a nature walk and do things like that. And so, and those nature walks naturally are my like times of self-reflection and my alone time. So I feel that it will likely shift for us coming with the shifts of the season, and more, sunlight and so forth, more daylight, day hours. So we can get up and hopefully take a little bit more time for that. Um, but then also with the collective, what I have been, what I'm just thinking about as far as like the dreams that have been shared with me and what I've experienced is that like a lot of us are working out like the stress and just like all of the energy in the collective field and the collective unconscious. Like we've been working that energy out through our sleep. And yes, I've had a good like lunar cycle as far as my dreams, but I have been having a bit of like anxious dreams. Not anything like I have had before, but like I've definitely been having those and also like having those collective um collective unconscious dreams. So that's something that I've been experiencing and I've also like have had people share their dreams with me and it has been along the lines of the collective unconsciousness or like really weird like dystopia type dreams and it's almost like they're working out like their own energy and the energy of the collective or working through it.
Yeah, it can be really difficult to work through your own energies when you have that influence of the collective coming in too. There have definitely been multiple dreams where I've had that collective energy. A lot of the times it comes in like apocalyptic forms, because the general energy of the collective is stressful. So like that's what I'm feeling in my dream space. And sometimes it's easy to kind of like see the environment and recognize it within the dream space that it's not actually about me or for me, and I can continue on with my dream. But sometimes I can get wrapped up in it and like be in that energy. So I definitely can see that, and I've experienced that too.
Mm-hmm.
This cycle. I was like, look, I was like
You're like,
looking.
wait, this what?
No, it's in there.
Yeah, so Mary's here. Hi, Mary.
Hi,
Thanks for
Mary.
being here. Thanks for sharing in the chat. Mary says, mine have been active. I've had nightmares of immortality. Sometimes I've only remembered snapshots, and other times it consumes my day space trying to remember knowing it as a message. Yeah, like I have
Wow.
had, actually, surprisingly, I'm thinking about the one of the intense dreams I had that really it felt personal, but it felt like a little bit of a collective energy because and this is not the dream I was going to share, but I did share this with you, Alexis. I was picking up, I think it was my god sister's daughter from high school. And I actually wasn't picking her up, but basically I was there with her and we were leaving together and we were going to get her car. But the cars, and it was like a group of us, and the cars weren't where they usually are, like they weren't there at all. And I was like asking her, like, is this normal, like where could they be, what's going on? And then we both together realized that the school was like something was off. And then come to find out the school was like under like a siege. And then there were like these authorities, officials coming after people, all of us, with these like what looked like stun guns type things, but they were like some sort of like poisonous gas, and like they killed you instantly if it consumed you. And so we got out alive, but it was very stressful. I woke up with an anxiety attack, and it like did begin to follow me through the day. But as I like kind of like I think I felt I'm getting better at detaching from the dreams in a way that like my body doesn't respond, because I feel that the way dreams follow me, like say anxious dreams or nightmares, I can feel it in my body, like I'm anxious all day. And so I've been able to at least detach and like ground myself in that way, and then just like go through the dream as a observer, or say if it was someone else's dream, so I don't get as like emotionally involved or lose myself at that point in it,
Right.
right?
Would you say that that felt like the collective energy coming in, that type of dream that you had?
Yeah, it felt like a combination. So it felt like there were some aspects of it that felt like me, like a message from me in a personal experience, like the way I was like protecting and guiding my god niece, I guess you would say.
Right.
Um, because she was basically like I was the one, like I don't know where it came from, but I just got this like thing it was like this plastic piece, and it was like a shield, and I had a couple of those in my mouth. So every time like I saw them, I just turned to them and it would actually like maybe reflect it back to them. But it basically killed the officials that were trying to like shoot it at us. And then I ended up getting my god niece the same, like I ended up getting that for her, right? Like giving it to her. And then I was kind of like guiding and shielding. So it feels like a part of my role, and like the overall energy of what was happening in the collective field was more of like the collective energy, I feel.
Wow, that's so powerful too. Like that ability to shield and protect is such a powerful ability, and it feels very poignant, like having that be protection and for your god niece too. Like it makes me think about what could be going on in her life right now where you might be needed or necessary, or even if it's like, I don't know, the energies you're feeling
I'm
from
sorry,
her.
1 second.
No,
Sorry.
go ahead. But yeah, I just think that was the way that the collective has been coming in lately has been really interesting. And, it has a lot to do with what we're experiencing on a daily basis, with all of the things that we're seeing and experiencing, things that we probably shouldn't be seeing and experiencing as humans, we probably weren't ever supposed to have all of this be in our scope. So the way that we're all digesting it and dealing with it is very complex.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a lot. And I feel like for like dream people who are versed in their dreams, like you pay attention to it, you're very reflective, and also 9 times out of 10 you're very intuitive and energetically sensitive to your environment.
Right.
So in some ways, like I don't want to claim this for everybody, and I almost don't want to claim it for myself, but it's like I feel that I am like not necessarily taking it on, but I'm like helping to clear some of this, like whatever can be done on a like unconscious, subconscious, astral level, I am, helping with that in some way. And I feel that I'm doing it in many other ways too, but I definitely get that sense like within the dream space. And I felt like a little bit of that, like at least that kind of spoke to me in that way. Right. And it's like finding different ways to go about like guiding and protecting, because it's like, normally we talked about this before, like the car would be like, your journey or maybe how you navigate something, or like that was also something that obviously we relied on to just leave, to go somewhere else or to move forward. But it's like that was gone, like that was kind of taken away in some ways. And so we had to find other routes, and that was literally the whole thing of the dream. It was like, how can we get out of here? Like, let's find, like we ended up on escalators and then some other weird stuff. So like that was like trying to get out of that and protect ourselves was like a big part of that dream. And it was like, I mean, it was like a high speed chase siege type. It was crazy.
It's so interesting because when you think about, again, like the car, it's like you're moving the way that the vehicle in which you're the journey that you're on and the vehicle that you are like driving or riding or being dragged behind through life. It's that whole thing where, like, sometimes it's recognition of, who's in the driver's seat. Is it you? Is it someone else that you're allowing taking control of your life? And do you have to find that, way to get back in the driver's seat? But you guys don't even have the vehicle. You don't even have that vehicle anymore. So how, like, it's just very interesting to kind of go about how this reflects in your waking space and where you feel like you are in your journey with just yourself, but also this person. Did
Mhm.
you did you reach out to her at all?
No, I haven't. I don't, yeah. It was kind of, it just random that she was like there. I don't even know. Like, that's something I should like reflect on a little bit more, because it's not like I talk to her often,
Mm-hmm.
at all. Like, I saw her last Christmas, like not 2025, but 2024.
Right.
And I hadn't seen her, and she was 17, about to turn 17. And I hadn't seen her since she was like a baby. So
Right.
yeah, so it's like, I know she just turned 18, and so that'll be interesting because I am going to be visiting my mom, which is like also around where my god niece, I guess you could say, lives. And so like I feel like I should, there's something deeper there, because like my god sister, that's a whole other thing. um so that would be interesting to uncover. But I think one of the biggest things too, like as far as like right now in waking life, that also kind of sticks out to me is like improvising. Like it's like, being quick on your feet. I haven't been taking like I haven't been at the improv meetups, so I am missing that. But there's something about like improvising, I feel is interesting.
That's
Um,
so interesting to bring
Living
up too.
here.
It's like it's almost like you're being called to be in that state even if you're not there having fun.
Yeah, like it's interesting.
That's so
But that
interesting.
wasn't even the dream I want to share.
Well,
So
I was going to say, if you want, you can go jump right into the next
should I jump
dream.
into the,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. We'll be quick. This is it's not too long at all. I just write really big. It's like pages. Okay. So my daughter, Sidori, was watching us for a moment. So I'm just, hold on one sec. I think I'm just jumping into it. Let me recall, and I should have did this. Okay. So actually, you go because I'm gonna quickly try to organize, but I want you to share and then I'll come back to this because I'm like, wait. Uh,
Okay.
yeah.
So I had actually quite a few dreams over the last cycle. Um, but I'm going to share one that I had that felt particularly profound. So I had this on March 1st. And essentially, I was at my grandfather's house, which is a dream location that I have frequently. And it felt like it used to feel like during Christmas. So we'd all meet up at my grandma and grandfather's house. And I say that with emphasis on my grandmother because it felt like what it felt like when she was alive. Like people were just a little bit more, um, I don't know, it was a lighter energy. There were more people there. So it felt very much like that. And we were all in the living room, and the living room is pretty long. And, when you walk in from the kitchen and you're looking straight back, the front door is on the left. And then there's like a couch on one side, a couch on the other, a wood burning stove, and then a small couch. And then you're in the doorway to the kitchen. And then on the other side, they always had a huge TV turned up to like 70 because they were deaf. And then, like, it almost felt like kind of exposed wood shelves that were painted over with pictures and stuff on them, and then this very old door to the basement.
Mm,
And so we're all in this space, and the energy feels really comfortable and nostalgic and warm. And then it kind of gets a little uncomfortable. And the door to the basement keeps kind of like opening, and everybody in the room, my aunts and uncles and everyone, they all kind of like are nervous, very uncomfortable with this. They're sensing something and it's scaring them. So I notice that I'm not scared, and we leave the room. We come back, the door's wide open. They close it very like nervously. They Then like something happens and the doors open again, and there's this like energy pouring out from the basement that's very uncomfortable, very kind of like scary. And I'm looking for at it, and there's this like old wooden bat sitting in the closet. And the way the closet's set up is like it's a closet basement essentially. So like you open the door and there's like the corner where you can store your stuff, and then to the left are the stairs that go down to the basement, and then it's like two kind of small rooms and the back door. And I look over again, and this bat, this like wooden old bat, picks itself up and throws itself at me. And I use like my brain, essentially, like my powers, and I like shatter this bat in front of me. And then after that happens, the energy goes from like really heavy to like, I would say half lighter. There was still this heaviness that was lingering, but there was this like lighter energy coming through. It didn't feel like it was as um what's the word I'm looking for? Like intentional. Before it felt like it was intentionally trying to freak us all out. And this like spirit of this young girl kind of starts to show itself, and she starts like kind of glowing a little bit white and coming through, rather than just like no figure or anything, just that energy coming through. This is now the form of a younger girl who approaches me, and we kind of are communicating in a way that is hard to explain. In the dream, it made sense, but kind of moving through it in the waking, it doesn't. And I remember her being around and the room still being very, very scared while I was very calm. And at that point, I had noticed that some family members who have passed in real life drove up front, because the door to the front door was open with the screen door closed so you can see through it. They drove up and got out of their car and kind of were talking to some of my aunts and uncles on the porch with the door open now. and asking about this energy and asking about the basement. And the girl beckons me to come down the basement, and I go down, and the basement, which normally is like a very narrow L-shaped room to the right that has like a fish tank, some cabinets, and the dryer and washer. And then on the other side, it's kind of like this small square room with another fish tank, a fridge, and just random stuff. It's not a big basement, but in my dreams, it's always huge, endless, infinite. Like every single time I've ever had a dream about this basement, it has been an infinite space. So she brings me downstairs, and the setup's completely different. All of a sudden, it's all stone with real high ceilings. In the first room she brings me in, there's like racks of clothes. And she's kind of like communicating to me in a way that was sorrowful. And I start going through the clothes, and I'm like, you should really try to embody how you're feeling at this point in your life. Like, you've been dead for a long time. You might need to like re-up your, like, just feel more like yourself now. And I'm like pulling out like this matching underwear set, and I'm like, I feel really good when my underwear matches, and like, which in essence doesn't really make any sense because she's a ghost, she's a spirit, she's not of the material. So I don't know why that was what we were discussing. But while I was doing that, the rooms kind of went back and back and back. It kind of feels like the what you would like think of with the back rooms, but concrete floors and and stone walls.
Mm-hmm.
And I could feel other energies kind of like drifting around the corners. Like it always felt like I felt like there were 100 different eyes on me while I was having this experience with this like spiritual entity. Um, but yeah, that I had that dream on March 1st, and it stuck with me because I have my dreams located in my grandfather's basement often.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to real quick bounce off of that with some interesting information that I have about that. So, when I told Urania about this dream, she was like, "You should see if there's like, you should investigate and see what if anybody else, has dreams of being in this basement or history around the property or whatever." So I reached out to my aunt, and she's very connected with her dreams, and I essentially was talking to her, and I was like, "Look, I have these dreams about being in your childhood basement all the time, but it's never the same. It's always really really big and endless and like connected with the void. And I just want to know a little bit about like, do you know the history of the house? And two, do you ever have dreams about this?" And she said she doesn't have dreams about the basement often. She has dreams about being in other parts of the house, but not the basement often. But when she does, she said that it's kind of like the people under the stairs energy. And like there's like it's the basement, but then there's something that opens up that leads her to something much bigger. And she
That's
started
how
kind of
she
telling,
felt waking life,
no,
or
in her
her.
dreams.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
So there's that
So she was telling,
synchronicity. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
So there's that synchronicity between the two of you.
Yes. And I talked to my cousin too, who is her child, and he's like 21. And he's also connected with the spiritual in his dreams. And I was like asking him about it. And we were going to get on FaceTime and like talk about it. And it never happened. And I'm so bummed it didn't because I was like, oh, I was like, tell
Yeah.
me more.
Well, yeah, you have to like eventually talk to him and let us know, update us.
Yes, exactly. I'm going to bring it up tonight because I completely forgot. But then she started talking to me about the history of the house. She talked to me about how, like, ever since she was a little kid, there was energy in the house, upstairs and downstairs. And she had a distinct memory of being in the kitchen when the house it was built just a little bit differently. So, for example, during this time, she was like over a vent that you could see into the basement with. And so she was sitting in the kitchen over this vent, and she heard someone calling her name from below her. and she thought it was her uncle, but
Mm.
she looked over into the room and her uncle was sitting on the couch. And so
Oh
there've
my-
been the whole house is like definitely haunted. I've always felt it, but I've never been afraid of, like, I have personally have never been afraid of the energies in that house. My mom and everybody else like gets super freaked out, like they feel really unnerved by it.
Oh, your mom says that she felt that way, like
Oh
about the.
yeah, my mom tells this story about how she was like upstairs blow drying her hair in the bathroom and just felt this like insane intense energy, and it freaked her out so bad she just left, like as an adult, post my grandmother passing away. So within the last like 10 years, 13 years.
Wait, so your grandfather still lives there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Hmm. Yeah.
You and your cousin should go there and like go in the basement and like light a
Dude,
That's
I
what
was
I would
thinking
do as a
about that.
teenager.
I was
Like,
thinking about we just like all sit
like we should
down in the
go and just like
basement.
stand there and like see like, what comes to us. That's what I would do back in the day. Um,
I might. But one of the coolest things I found, so the house is like 100 something years old.
mhm.
And the coolest aspect of all of this is that my aunt told me that prior to the house being built on that street, any of the houses being built on that street, the lot that my grandparents' house was built on used to be grounds for a carnival
That's crazy. Yeah.
and a like in circusy stuff. Like it
I
was
mean,
great.
yeah, that's in the early 1900s for like later than or earlier
I
than
think
that.
it
So
was built. I think their house was built in the late 1800s,
oh,
and
so yeah.
they probably zoned and stuff like that. So the carnival and circus stations that would come on this land were probably from like, I don't know, the early 1800s to around that period of time, or maybe even
And
earlier.
their circuses, I mean, them things are creepy back then. Like, especially like
Yes.
yeah.
Who
So
knows
you
what
can
happened on that
imagine.
land? Like it's so interesting. So I wanted to share that dream because I have all this like new updated information about what was going on and who's experienced it, and I just felt like it was such a intriguing, especially just the
Mm.
feeling of like I'm with one energy, but I can feel hundreds of other energies staring at me
Well, maybe
in
even
the
that's
same
like,
space.
because so the thing, I think we've talked about this here on the podcast before. And like, from my understanding, my perspective is that, like ghosts essentially are like echoes of that person's soul, right? Like an imprint or an echo. And generally it's like it's said that when there's like a strong emotion that's attached with like a place, and it could be something like an item or like something like that, but a lot of the times when it's like a place, like a location or something like that, like when there's a strong emotional attachment, there's an echo of their soul there, like an imprint. And so, I mean, it would make sense too if like, there being like it being a circus ground, that like there would be lots of souls that like, there's been a lot of emotional like stuff going on there. And, so it makes sense that basically, even though you're talking or connecting with one person, like you're feeling all of these other energies in the space. And I'm curious, did you like have any, wait, so does anyone actually like when your mom and your aunts, when they were young, does anyone ever spend time in the basement, or is it an unfinished basement?
Um, so the basement's really, I mean, my grandfather, my grandmother spent a lot of time in there. When my aunt was living in her old house, she would come and do laundry down there. Like,
Okay.
people would spend time down there, but it wasn't like
It wasn't like,
hanging out down there. It was like going down and doing laundry. And, my grandfather's like fish for the pond and stuff were down there. And it wasn't like, I don't know, it's definitely a creepy basement, but it's not the creepiest of
yeah, yeah,
basements.
especially in like the northeast of the United
Right.
States. Like, I mean, like up here in New York, like upstate New York, especially if they're unfinished basements, like there's like this weird, like what you were saying as far as like the concrete floors and like the stone walls and like
Hmm.
there'll be exposed pipe and like it's creepy. Like there
Yeah.
are a lot of basements out here. I'm just like, I'm not, I can look at them and tell, and it like looks like that unfinished look. So, um, yeah, but my other question was, do you have any childhood memories of like that basement or even like with the home in general, like your grandparents' home? Like, any-
I didn't, so I find this interesting because I frequented my grandparents' house often, but not a crazy amount. I spent most of my time at my other grandparents' house. I never have dreams about being in their basement or their, well, I've had dreams about being at their house, but not as often as I had being in the basement of my other grandparents' house.
Mhm.
Um and like I've been down in the basement a bunch of times, but there's nothing pointing to like it's not like I had any crazy experiences while I was in the basement.
or
And
when,
now I'm like
or while you're
I
at their
almost
house.
feel like I feel like there's some kind of weird soul attachment
Yeah.
to the house by
Right.
itself.
And there could be like a, like kind of like a crossroads, like kind of like a threshold type energy around that house.
Well, and if I let me look at my text real quick because my aunt did say something that I found that was really interesting. Let me just.
Mm.
Hmm. Sorry. I'm like
No, you're
looking.
good. I was trying to like fill the space with something.
You know, it's so funny. I didn't even think it was you at first. Like I heard it, I was like, wait, what is
Yeah, you
that?
had to look like you're like, what? Like, wait, what? It's like, coming from?
That's so funny. I'm trying to find it. My aunt had said that something about the basement. Oh, here it goes. Um. Oh, here it is. She said their house has been noted to be a portal.
What? Noted
Yeah.
by who?
I don't
I'm
know.
curious.
I wanted to investigate that, but we were on a different thing and I never got back to that. But like,
Wow. Okay, well, to be continued, but like that makes
yes.
sense if it was
Yeah.
like that's kind of what I was picking up where you're like, oh, there's a lot of souls there. And like it could also, being again that it was like grounds for a circus, like who knows like where your grandfather's or your grandparents' house is in particular, like that could have been like some threshold of the circus in itself, or like it could have been like the gates of like coming in and from basically from the outside to the inside, right? Like the entrance gates,
Right.
anything, but like that energetic imprint, like there's so much emotions and so many things like in that space that it makes sense that it's still kind of like vibrating
Yeah.
there. It reminds me of I mean, and this is not as cool, it's actually quite sad, but a house that I lived at in Boulder was on like the base of Flagstaff Mountain, which was like a famous mountain where the indigenous people of that land and I'm assuming colonizers, but don't quote me on this. But basically there was a famous battle there with the indigenous people. And so there's a lot of energy in that space. And I would feel like I felt so unsettled in that house. And we would see like creatures, like we couldn't, like maybe it was a fox, maybe it was a raccoon, but we would see those too. But we would see like weird stuff, like just in the backyard. And my roommate at the time, I wasn't there. I don't even think I was living there, but there was like a big patio, like, one of those patio doors to the backyard, like a sliding glass door. And I think she was like in the kitchen, like in that space, because there was like a table there. But wherever she was, either like in the kitchen or over by the table, she just happened to look, and this was at night, she happened to look at the sliding glass door, and she said it was like a fox, right? It looked like a fox. It was probably a fox, but she said it came to the window and kind of like faded in. And like, I don't know if it faded out or because it was gone really quick, but she said with it fading in, she just like broke out into tears. Like she just like it emotionally
Oh
moved
my
her, and like
goodness.
that's like nothing happened, she just saw it. And like crazy stuff like that would happen around that space. That was also the house that I had my first like astral, like body astral projection experience, like not intentionally, and I did it intentionally there too. Like there were so many weird things about that house, and I really think it's because of like the land that it was on and like what had happened there. We had poison hemlock just growing wild in the backyard. It was a crazy awesome house to like live in. But
Isn't there a lot of like, what do they call them? Maybe I shouldn't even say it out loud. Where like it's things, entities disguised as things that look
yeah,
familiar,
yeah,
and they tell you like stay in your house after dark and
yeah. Oh, that was one of those where like I'm getting chills. I I did not like you could feel the energy at night, like if you're outside of the house. And her room was getting chills. There were two rooms on like the main floor. It was like one of those tall like duplexes. There was another house on the other side, but you walk in and then there's like two bedrooms there, but then there's a stairs going up to the middle floor, and then you go up to the third floor, and there were two more bedrooms. But her room was on the first floor, and next to the front door, there was like one of those skinny windows. And she would
oh,
say like all the time when she would like walk from her bedroom to like the bathroom that's down there, she would like feel like something was like looking at her. She like there was I'm getting chill. There was like crazy energy, and like that we also like were really heavy into like witchcraft and like rituals and our
right,
spiritual everything, but we had the house on lock. So when you're in the house, you're good, but outside of the house, we felt like it was like
yeah,
things circulating. There would be like a lot of like lightning storms there, just like
ooh, I
no
love
rain, just with
that.
lightning. Yeah, and it was
Yeah,
at the base of the foothills of the Rocky Mountains. So it was a very awesome, sweet place to live, but it was crazy. Like I
I
don't
would
know like if I could be there now as a mom and as energetically sensitive, but as a single person and just like really,
with your friends
open with
in
my
a
friends,
house,
my
you
sister
know.
witches, like it was fun. So,
I would love to go and visit just to bask in the energy of it. Cause like I always think about when people talk about like the
Appalachian Mountains.
yes, the
Yeah,
Appalachian Mountains, and like how like if you're outside and you hear someone yell your name, no they didn't, go inside. Like all these little things that are
oh,
like if you
yeah,
think you
that's
see someone and like you don't know them, like don't even look at
yeah.
them, like go
If
inside,
it's nighttime, yeah.
close your
It's
blinds
funny.
at night, and
I was just
like
having this conversation with someone about like the forest, like, oh, because they were talking about being a park ranger. And oh yeah, because I've been seeing like stuff about Bigfoot and like, Sasquatch and everything coming up. And we were talking about how like park rangers, they have the craziest stories. I can't remember the name of this podcast I was listening to, but it was like talking about ghost stories or horror stories or paranormal things. And like most of them were like coming from park rangers, like from a forest. And
yeah.
I get it. Like there's a lot of energy there. Um, but
Well,
yeah,
and there's so much like people talk about specifically the Appalachian Mountains and like the forests around there, and they're so dense, and
yeah,
like you just don't know what's out there, and people go missing all the time, and like people talk about how there's cannibalistic like populations deep within there, or
mhm.
like um other kinds of like non-human type.
Yeah, I know names, but I'm not even gonna of the
I
creature.
know, so I'm
I'm
like,
not
I'm
gonna
not saying
say
anything. I'm keeping this like I'm not I'm just
it's too close to bedtime.
yes. I'm not trying to invoke anything. I'm kind of
Right.
like I know I'm on the
Yeah.
East Coast and I'm we have our own things, but
Yeah.
like I'm not
So
trying
sweet.
to
Yeah.
because you know what, if they don't want things to be named, I'm not naming them.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Good.
being
Yeah.
extra
But you guys know
cautious.
what we're talking about though.
Yes,
You
yeah.
get it.
You know what we're talking about. Like I sit
So
in my house and I can feel energies in my space,
yeah.
particularly down like in my foyer, like because I have a
Yeah.
my front door is like you walk in and it's a small little space and then the stairs up here. So you have to go up the stairs to actually get to my first floor, which is my living room and my or my kitchen. And like I'll be in the kitchen and I'll be like dancing and whatnot, and I'll just like look over at my banister to the stairs and like I just feel the energy watching
Yeah.
me. Like most of the time I'm singing at them or dancing like, in the direction of them
Yeah.
because I'm inclusive.
Yeah. No, that's the way to do it.
Well, and I'm also just not afraid. Like when I moved in, I was scared, but like I ended up doing like this little like ritual for a couple nights straight where I sat in the living room with all the lights off and just allowed myself to kind of
Yeah.
be in it, and then I got really used to it, and now I'm like not afraid of it anything in my home at all. But like
Yeah.
I can still feel it. And then at night, sometimes when I close my eyes, I can hear a bunch of people walking around in my bedroom. Like I can hear the squishing of the carpet, and it's not like it's in another room. It's like it's right next to my bed. And if I'm feeling particularly anxious or stressed, that
Mhm.
will manifest into like a fearful thing.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
just
it
so
makes definitely makes
interesting
sense. Yeah.
because
Yeah,
it
when I
makes me sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it makes me think about like what we're perceiving,
Yeah.
like what how people go about talking about those things
Hmm.
over by Appalachia, and like
Yeah.
is it negative or is it fear manifest? Like could it be something that it's
Mm,
like you're manifesting it to be something that it's not just because of the internal fear and anxiety around? Like it's so interesting. Anyway.
yeah. No, it definitely is. And I know we probably talked about this before, but I think yeah, it's like when I first moved here, I felt like that creepy feeling, but after being here now for like 6 years, 6, 7 years, my energy dominates the space, and like I know when other things are around. And like my daughter, she's 6, she senses stuff all the time. Like she doesn't like to have the kitchen light off at night, so she wants to keep the light on in there, and then she's usually good. But it's on point because that's where I since when I first moved here, or if I know anything's like in the space that I'm not used to, it's always in the kitchen, like between the patio door that's like off the kitchen going to the backyard, and then the actual kitchen kind of like around that area is where I generally feel it. Um so it makes sense. And I'm just like, kids are so like intuitive and they see that stuff. So, and we
Well, isn't your basement in the kitchen too?
yeah, it's like that patio door is like facing the basement, so it's like that threshold between the kitchen and the basement. Yeah. Like
Right.
I
And there's a
never
lot of energy in your basement.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
gotten better, but
Good.
yeah, it's gotten a lot better.
Good.
Um but yeah, no, it was a lot when we had a lot of weird electrical things down there. Um but yeah, so speaking of basements, just coming back to your dream.
Oh yeah.
mm, I just thought that like it was interesting how the energy of the dream I felt shifted after the bat shattered.
Mhm.
Like in some ways I felt like that could be like symbolism for like that level of protection, like dissolving in a sense, or you being able to like it could speak to you being more open or a little bit more vulnerable, but in like a powerful way, because it's like you started to see, like, for instance, the figure of the child there, or like the figure of that being, like it ended up revealing itself as a young girl, and it wasn't like scary anymore. So I felt like that could represent like maybe the uncertain, like the unknown and the darkness, like that transition of that, and coming into something more like it's illuminating that situation, and it's become a little bit more lighter and playful. And then with her going through like the close with you, that can also represent as a result of that transition, you like not necessarily taking on an identity, but being more creative with your self-expression and things, yeah, changing in your identity, right? um and so I just thought that was interesting, because if we think about the basement representing, those deeper layers of the subconscious that we also like are a little bit scared to um navigate or just like peel back the layers of that. But when you actually start to, it's not as scary as you think. Like it can be.
Right.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I picked up.
No,
Um
I think you're 100% right on that. Like when I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking about the aspect of this being a projection of my inner child,
mhm,
one that is has been hurt and has this defense of anger, maliciousness, and breaking through the barrier to my own inner child, like my own inner preteen, I would say, not even child, because she was like 12.
oh, I think we lost you, Alexis. You froze.
Like, oh, am I back?
Yeah, you're coming back now. So I'm gonna have you repeat that for
Do
the
you remember
recorded
where I left
version.
off?
So start off at the spot where you were when you were explaining her representing you as as your inner child.
Oh,
So
yeah. So
okay.
it almost felt like I was embarking on looking back at old memories that were painful and old aspects of myself that were painful, particularly during this time period of being like 12 years old, and where I was and how like my creativity was being dampered and my self-expression was not being, I mean, I didn't really have the ability to truly express myself, at least without judgment, until I was an adult.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think back to where I was when I was 12, and I was being very like controlled in multiple different ways, and I was also dealing with traumas and not feeling support. And so it feels very on par that this malicious energy would be broken and revealed with my, yes, this ability to protect myself and also show like I'm not backing down and I'm also here and I'm present. And like how can I be of assistance in this way? And like it was like me breaking down the barriers to my own projection of my child self, almost like I was with myself in that moment during a different period of time. And like of course clothes would come through, because one of the things that had always been a difficult thing was being able to just wear what I wanted to wear and express myself. And like as simple as just wearing jeans and a t-shirt, like my mom wanted me to dress like, if I grew up to be a princess, my mom would have loved that. Like I was not allowed to express my own fashion sense. And like now, what do you think I wear all the time? Jeans and a t-shirt, jeans and a sweatshirt. That's how I express myself. That's what I feel comfortable in. But for such a long period of time, I was forced into a box that I didn't fit, but I had no choice but to like be in that. Like I even remember when I was 12, 13 years old, that's also when I had the ability to have my room painted. I had like these beautiful like cloudy skies in my room, and I loved it, but it just felt like it got dirty and old and whatnot. So I was for the first time able to kind of show my sense of self through my bedroom. And I remember I wanted to paint it black, and I wanted to get black light paint, and I wanted to like splatter paint the black walls with these neon colors that lit up with black light. And I was just like so excited to express myself in these ways. And my mom was like, actually, we're just going to paint your room this really bright pink because it
Oh,
matches some of your furniture. And she
um,
went with like, I just had to accept it. Like that was, it was like, okay. And just had to get myself excited for something that I didn't really want.
mm,
And because it was all about appreciation, and so,
ooh,
we decided on these like this like real, it's like red but toned down to pink color.
I know, yeah.
And she picked out this like French, like sponge print. It was like these French like
Hmm.
designs. So she did the bottom that black and white, and then the top that red pink color. And like I had to live with that. And you know how they talk about color reflecting how you feel and actually influencing how you feel?
Yep. Yeah.
Rage
100%.
all the time.
Yeah.
Rage all the time. So when I think about this period of time in my life, I was angry, I was upset, I was alone, and I was defensive all the time. And having me as an adult hold my 12-year-old self's hand and like say, hey, like this is you.
Mhm.
Now you need to figure out what works for you. And hey, maybe these things, like let's try to figure out what's going to make you happy, is very reflective of my childhood self for sure.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds like, whew, that sounds like, yeah, I'm sorry that you had to literally live with that because, like, yeah, color is such a big influence. And, like, it's funny, Sidori loves pink. Like, that's her favorite color. But when she was a baby, I would like all I would look and shop online for like black onesies and black because they don't sell that in like, it's always pink or blue. And I was just like, I
Yeah.
can't. And so I try to switch it up. And it's funny after all of that, like she really loves pink. So I'm just like, okay, did I just over there wasn't a lot of black stuff. It was actually a lot of pink stuff because again, you can't really find black clothing or even like anything else other than pink or like shades of pink. I mean, yes, there's some purples, but for like
Right.
baby. Um, so it was funny at the end of the day, like that's her favorite color. Which is fine, but I let her do her. Like her room is pretty much all pink, like pink everything, and it's like, but it's not me.
And you
So
never know how she's going to emerge from that too,
right.
like
Yeah.
I remember liking things as a kid, and then like a couple years later I was like, I hate this.
Yeah. Well, she did tell me that purple's her favorite, like her second favorite color now. So I'm like, okay,
Very
like
nice.
switching it up. And I think it's because she's into Poppy, what is it? Poppy Playtime. They have like a new one out. And there's like a girl, her name is Lily Love Braids, and she's got like she's all purple and she's
Very
like
nice.
crazy. So I think that's like why she's into purple right now. So it's kind of funny. So I'm like, all right, this is fun.
Well, it's funny you said the purple, and I was thinking K-pop Demon Hunters, because I remember there being like, wasn't there a girl with
The main
purple?
girl, Rumi, she had the long purple braid. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it probably started there.
yeah.
So, but yeah, so that's she's like feeling purple, but she was like, no, but pink is still my favorite, but I like purple now too. And I was like, okay, like that's cool.
Whatever, girl, it's you.
Do you? But yeah, no, this was awesome. I think I feel good with that dream that I shared being my dream for um this chat. I may share personally with you the dream that I had because it was really interesting. It
You
was
sure you don't want to share it? No
yeah,
pressure.
thinking about the time. And I'm getting a little this tea is kicking in.
Right.
But yeah, no. So I'll share my dream with you personally. Sorry, guys. But I will say it was involving like cats and like panthers and dogs, which have been like my dreaming guides lately. Like, but having both of them in the same dream was really special. So I was like,
That
oh,
is
this is
special.
why
Oh,
I
I'm so
write it down.
interested.
Yeah. And speaking of forest too, I was basically in like an enchanted forest. Um,
Woo!
so it was really cool.
Okay.
Yeah, so we will be back next week with our third episode on tarot and dreams. We're going to be talking about the high priestess. I'm really excited about this one. Oh, that's going to be so fun. Um So definitely join us for that. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing, Mary, in the chat as always. We appreciate that. And feel free to share in the comments if you're watching the replay or listening on Spotify. Let us know how your dream space has been, or if anything, if you have any fun, spooky stories about basements or homes or whatever, we would love to hear. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
That's a wrap.
All right, friends. Well, we'll be back next week. Sweet dreams.
Sweet dreams.